we're the 1914-21 Society. We reenact the First World War on the Eastern Fronts, which is the Eastern Front in Russia and in Salonika and in Italy, fighting between the Austrians and the Italians. We do the Russian army, which you can see over here, and we do the Austro-Hungarian army here. We have one of our gallant German allies, that over there, who fought with us on the Eastern Front. And our society tries to portray some of the lesser known fronts of the war. There's a reason it's called World War, and we like to show the public some of that lesser known stuff. Now, we've been coming to Military Odyssey, I think this is our third year. We got invited by the Tommies a few years ago to come along and do our display. And we try and grow a little bit every year and show something a little bit different. We have a medical tent round the corner for the Russians. And we have several guys in the Austro-Hungarian army this year, including my comrade here, who's from the cavalry, and wearing a nice field grey uniform, as you can see, with his magnificent cavalry equipment.
Okay, so what these hats, do they stand for ranks or?
This is the hat of an Ulan, what would previously have been a lancer, but they'd stopped using lances by that point. And this is the helmet of a dragoon. Now the really scary thing is in 1914 they went to war wearing this stuff, and as an expedient sometimes they put a cover on it or painted it grey, but pretty much this is how they went to war, wearing nice brightly coloured red and blue uniforms. Now fairly obviously it became apparent that that's no way to fight a war, and cavalry were made to wear these slightly less snazzy field grey uniforms. I'm an infantryman recruited in the South Tyrol region of Austria. It's a mountainous region, and therefore I'm a mountain trooper. And when we started the war I would have been in a much lighter blue-grey uniform, but again, 1915 they switched to a pike grey uniform. They switched to, sorry, a field grey uniform, and very similar to the German grey. And they fought on a number of different fronts, the main front being the 1,000-mile front against the Russians. But in May 1915 the Italians attacked the Austrians, and there was savage fighting in what we now call Slovenia and in the Dolomite Mountains of southern Austria and the region which is now northern Italy, in South Tyrol. There was also fighting on what we call the Salonika front in sort of northern Greece, Macedonia region, and the Austrians and the Germans sent troops to fight there, where they would have fought the British and the French amongst others. They spent most of the war fighting the Russians and the Italians, fight the British to a certain extent in 1918, and also in 1918 the Germans called for assistance on the Western Front, and so the Austrians sent divisions to go and fight in France as well. Towards the end of 1918 the empire starts to collapse. It's a very ethnically diverse empire. It has 11 official languages. It has an army with Christian, Jewish, Muslim troops in it, and the pressures of fighting a war, eventually the empire starts to collapse, and when the peace treaty is signed at the end of 1918, the empire disintegrates into the countries that we'd more recognise today: Austria, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Yugoslavia, and of course obviously more recently those countries have broken up even further. So we still live with the legacy of the First World War on the Eastern Front. Is the standard Austrian rifle. This is called the Steyr Mannlicher, the Model 95. It's similar to most rifles of the First World War period. It's called a bolt-action rifle. Where it differs is the bolt, instead of coming up and backwards, just comes straight backwards. And to load it, you take a clip. It normally has 5 bullets in, and the clip actually forms part of the magazine. So you do that, and then you'd be ready to fire. So you'd fire your 5 rounds, hopefully without it jamming. then the clip drops out the bottom of the rifle, and then you're ready to load another one. So it's a really fast weapon to fire, really simple and really easy to load. This is quite a short version which was issued to the mountain troops. The ordinary infantry were given a longer version of the rifle, which is this one. You can see the difference there. And of course, you have a bayonet which can fix to the top with a little luck. Maybe not on that one, certainly on this one. Thank you. You see, it's quite a modern looking bayonet for the First War period. Most of the bayonets of the period are much longer or spike bayonets, and quite handy for trench fighting, particularly in a shorter rifle like this. But later in the war, a lot of the troops would have been issued a trench knife as well. They weren't very popular though. I think they were regarded as a little bit near the knuckle, a bit visceral, and you probably wouldn't be very popular if you were captured carrying one of those. So we can dismount the bayonet safely.
I think that's all we need for now. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, mate.
Bye bye.